Hey guys, it's Lacey again with your 15-minute content debrief, 15 minutes of actionable information you can use to grow your content marketing strategy. If you don't know, I'm Lacey Boggs. I'm with the Content Direction Agency. We are an agency that helps personality-driven brands create and implement content strategies that actually move the needle, grow your business, and move your business forward. And my lunch is done. It's dinging over there. I'll be done in just a second. So if you're watching with me live this week, I would love it if you would pop a like or a thumbs up on the live video. If you're watching the replay, do give me a like or a thumbs up or drop a comment in to say, hey, because that helps the algorithms know that this is awesome content that more people should see, which I believe it is. So this week, last week, I got on a podcast interview with a guy named Tom Polland. He runs a podcast called Marketing the Invisible, which is an awesome name, I think. It's all about marketing services and things that aren't physical, things you can't see. And he sent me, after the interview, he sent me a copy of his book as a thank you, which that was super cool. But I was skimming through it last Friday, and one thing that jumped out, I haven't read the whole entire book yet, Tom, sorry. But one thing that popped out to me in particular was his discussion of the fact that a business needs multiple lead streams. And I'll explain what we mean by that in just a minute. But he's talking about how, like, if you were an investor, you wouldn't put all your money into a single stock or single investment, right? A smart investor would have their money in multiple different investments. And if you were a millionaire, lots of different millionaires and very wealthy people have multiple revenue streams, right? The idea being that if one tanks, goes south, dries up, whatever, you still have the others to support you. And so he's applying this same concept to leads in your business. And it was one of those moments where it was like, yeah, that's awesome. Oh, right. Of course. Duh. And then it was like, oh, maybe I'm not actually implementing that in my own business. Here's the thing. I think as business owners, we often get a little bit complacent when something is working. And this plays a little bit off my post from last week where I was ranting about the fact that, I saw that article about ad blockers. And I was saying, like, if you're solely using advertising, then you might have a problem because ad blockers are becoming more and more prevalent. And so my rant last week was like, if you're mainly using what is happening right now? If you're mainly using ads, Facebook ads, display ads, whatever, to drive your business, you might want to consider diversifying. And then I read this thing in Tom's book about having multiple lead streams, and I'm like, yes, that's smart. That's what I just said. You ought to have multiple. And then I was like, oh, do I do that? Ooh, that's an ugly truth, because the answer is kind of no. Like, because we get single-minded, right? We get super focused on the thing that has worked before or the thing that is currently working. And we get we got those blinders on, right? Like the horses with the blinders so they don't get spooked. We don't want to get spooked by lots of different marketing tactics and different channels and new things that we don't know how to do. So it was a real wake-up call for me in my own business, thinking about, well, what's my main lead stream? My main lead stream is and has always been referrals. Now, as a blogger, you may think that's weird because I blog for a living and I teach other people to create content for a living. But my blog absolutely supports my business because a lot of times when people find me or hear about me, they immediately go to my website, they check out the blog, they maybe download some case studies or whatever it is, and then they contact me, right? It's kind of like I'm walking my talk. It's almost like an online portfolio to show what I'm about and who I am, etc. So blogging is very important to my business, but it's not like directly the most important lead generator in my business. When I was selling products and courses, it was definitely much higher on the list, right? But for services, one-on-one services, strategy, coaching, etc., my number one lead stream is and has always been referrals. Well, that's awesome. Like, I'm super proud that people like us well enough to refer us to their friends, etc. But A, it's not predictable, and B, it could dry up at any minute, right? Like if I tap out the people that exist, or if everybody's just having a slow summer or whatever, like I can tap that out pretty darn quick. The point being, Tom's point about having multiple lead streams like kind of hit me right where I lived this week. And so I wrote a blog post about it. So I'm going to add it to the broadcast here so y'all can check it out. But the real point of this screed that I'm making here is that like it became so comfortable for me just to rely on those referrals that I wasn't investigating any other lead streams for my business. So I wasn't trying out new things. I actually wasn't even implementing things that had worked in the past because I was just resting on my laurels. I was getting plenty of referrals at the time. So it seemed like I should just do that, right? That seemed like the easiest way to go. And sometimes that's what happens. We fall on this pattern where it's like, well, this is easy, this is working, I'm just going to double down and do that. And we call it focus, right? Which is good. Like focus is good, don't get me wrong. But when you focus too narrowly, it can be detrimental to your business. I was talking to a potential client this week, and she was talking about needing somebody to come in and help her with her newsletter. And as we were talking, she revealed to me that she spends a really high dollar amount every month on Facebook ads. And that's working well for her, very well. Like she has over 100,000 people on her email list. It's working exceptionally well for her. But as we were talking, I was like, so how are you using your content to move people through the sale? She was saying that the only way to get on her email list is to buy her book, which is the first step in her funnel, right? So the Facebook ads feed the funnel, then you buy the book, then you get on your list. But as we were talking, it became very clear that she really wasn't using that content, that weekly newsletter and blog post, to their fullest to drive leads. Or even to drive, if not brand new leads, to drive the leads she has to make the next purchase, right? So even somebody who's doing exceptionally well filling the top of their funnel can add another lead stream, because I was asking a bunch of questions, as one does on a sales call, like, you know, what do you do for SEO? What do you do for this? And there was a lot of meh, because she's focused so much on this funnel. The funnel is working. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not calling her out here. She's doing exceptionally well. But the point is there are other ways and other places she could be adding lead streams so that if that Facebook apocalypse ad thing that I was talking about last week ever were to come to pass, she wouldn't be decimated, right? If we spend some time and energy with her, helping her with her SEO, helping her build up her blog game, helping make sure that those newsletters are pointing people to what she actually wants to buy, helping her use that content and repurpose it all across her different channels so that she's getting organic traffic instead of just paid traffic, that becomes a second or even second and third maybe lead stream for her. So that if for whatever reason she decides not to do Facebook ads anymore, they get expensive, Facebook gets whatever, shut down. As unlikely as that seems, it could happen, right? So we're actually talking to her and she's thinking about diversifying her lead streams, which I think is a super smart idea. Oh, Ellie, so true. She says, all my clients are referred to me and it's a crapshoot. I go through times where I have to breathe, and other times where I wonder if I'll be able to put food, where I hardly breathe. Other times when I wonder if I'll be able to put food on the table. Me too, sister. So like, why are we doing this to ourselves? And I know that the first like objection I'm going to get to this and to this blog post is, yes, Lacey, but if I knew what to do to get more leads, I would be doing it. And I just want to call you out on that a little bit. Maybe that's true. And maybe it's not, because I don't know if you're like me. I am aware of many other ways of generating leads that I am not taking advantage of, right? I haven't tried them, or I tried them for a while, but it was a lot of work, so I gave it up, or whatever it might be. But when we identify those additional lead streams, like it might be a little more work to set up right now, right? But if I get a lot more leads into my business, if it works and I'm adding leads and I'm adding new customers and I'm adding new business, then I'm going to have more money to allow me to outsource, automate, or delegate those things, right? Or at least a lot of it. So it's kind of a catch-22. You might have to invest a little now. You might have to invest, whether that's time or money or energy, whatever it might be. But the payoff could be huge, and it could make a really big difference for your business when those lean times come, as Ellie and I have experienced, or when something crazy happens with Facebook ads, or when all of a sudden webinars aren't converting the way they used to for you, which all of these things have happened in the past, right? To other people, to people I know. So I think it's just another really good reminder that diversifying your lead stream is super important. I think probably I try to answer the question, how many you should have. It's probably more than one, and less than will make you crazy. Tom in his book, I think, suggests 3 to 5. I feel like 3 feels like a sweet spot for me right now. That's what I'm going to try to pursue over the next few months. But yeah, whatever you feel like you can do to add another lead stream to your portfolio, or whatever you want to say, I think it's a good plan, and I think it's a smart plan to avoid those feast or famine moments that we've all experienced in our business. And if content might be a stream for you that you want to pursue, I would love to talk to you about it. Or if you're already doing content and that's one of your lead streams, but you need to, put your focus somewhere else for a little while, I would also like to talk to you, because we are that part of the outsource, automate, and delegate. We help people with this sort of thing. So I strongly believe that content can be a strong lead source for certain kinds of businesses, especially if you're a coach, like a high-end coach, if you have a membership site, or if you sell a course in particular. Those three types of people seem to do exceptionally well with content as a lead stream. So there are other businesses that can do well with it as well, but those are the top, like my top 3 that I see doing really well with content as a lead stream over and over and over again. And those are the 3 where I can confidently say, I know how to get you new leads using content as your vehicle or as your channel. So take a minute. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this idea of multiple lead streams. Visit the blog. Check out the post I wrote about this week. And next week, I think I'm going to be talking about essentialist marketing. So be sure to tune in next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. I am here every Tuesday at noon Mountain Time, which is 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And I'll catch you next time. See you then. Bye-bye.